don't get locked into what you're doing. You never know what's going to happen. Be ready to jump on any opportunity. I think I probably let a few opportunities go, but I know I grabbed one that would put me here.
From cornfields to high-rises, office to industrial, houses to hotels, and every other asset class in real estate, we cover the people, the projects, and the profit. Welcome to the Investing in Iowa Show. This show is for go-doers, action takers, and business owners. It's for people like you who are sick of Uncle Sam taking a huge bite of your apple. If you're looking to get ahead of what's taking place in Iowa, learn who is doing what and how you can get in on the action, you're in the right place. Hosted by Neil Timmins, an Iowa native who has been involved in over $300 million in real estate right here in Iowa. Recording in studio from West Des Moines. Here's your host, Neil Timmins.
We got Brett Olsen here on the show. Brett, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're bad. Say, for the audience's sake, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
I'm the department head for finance at the University of Northern Iowa. Within that department, we have our finance major, and we also have a real estate major, which brings me here. Been at UNI for about 15 years and in the department head role for 3. Before that, teaching at the University of Idaho. And before that, I was actually an engineer for Caterpillar for several years.
Take me back to even before that. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in southwest Minnesota, farm country, small town, about 700 people, a very rural farming community. Then went to college at North Dakota State University for engineering and landed a job at Caterpillar in Illinois. And then worked there actually in fuel systems for several years before I decided to go back to school.
What attracted you to the engineering path?
I'm very much a math person. And in high school, taking as many advanced math classes as they would offer in a small town, and then talking to some other engineers, it just kind of, I guess that called to me when I was coming out of high school. And North Dakota State had a really good program, and that's how I landed there.
So you worked at Caterpillar. How long were you there?
I was there about 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
A while, yeah.
I was there for a while.
What prompted you then what was the genesis of going back to school?
Well, I decided to get my MBA while I was there, hoping to maybe move upward in the company. As I was almost finished my MBA, I noticed a whole bunch of other engineers with a few more years of experience also already had their MBA, and they're still sitting in their current spot. While I was taking my finance classes at MBA, I really enjoyed the finance area. Talked to a few professors, and one thing led to another. Asked my saint of a wife if I could leave my job and go back to school. She said yes, and went to get my PhD full time, and here I am.
Yeah. Where'd you get your PhD?
University of Missouri in Columbia.
Yeah, great area.
It is. We loved it down there. Yeah.
And then from there, you went to Idaho?
Went from there, first job at the University of Idaho in Moscow.
What was Idaho like? I was, as you know, I was often confused for Idaho when you go around the country.
I learned that up there as well. Idaho is great. If you're an outdoors person, you could not beat it. We're in the foothills of the mountains. If you liked fishing, you have the streams everywhere. Hiking is great. Moscow is a smaller town, very much a university town. Yeah, we loved it out there.
And then get attracted to UNI.
Yeah, we wanted to come back because of family. I had 4 boys, all young, no family even close to us out there. So we wanted to come back to the Midwest. And UNI in Cedar Falls was about right in the middle between my family and my wife's family. So it worked.
What a great town and great city. And that continues to grow.
Yeah, we love Cedar Falls. We got there and it felt like home. Not very large. I'm a small town person. So is my wife. But it had everything we needed. And the community is great.
So you get what were you doing there when you 15 years ago?
So I was hired as an assistant professor. And so the first 5 years is focused completely on getting tenure at the university. Sure. While the family's getting involved in the community, I was completely focused on trying to get tenure so we could stay there.
What does that take? Maybe give for the layperson's sake, what does that actually mean?
So to succeed in academics, there are 3 areas: teaching, scholarship, and service. Early on, it's primarily, especially at a school like Northern Iowa, teaching is very important. And then research. So getting academic articles published is the name of the game in academics. For a school like Northern Iowa is a lot different than, say, at Iowa or Iowa State, where the quality of the articles is much higher. The expectation is much bigger. UNI, still quality, but not at the elite journals that you need to get at the R1 schools. And so it's just doing a lot of research, finding ideas that will be of interest, that you have the information and the data that you can study, and then hopefully get that accepted and published.
Does any piece stand out in your mind as one that was kind of your showcase at that time?
So a lot of academics really focus on one area, and I was more opportunistic. Things that would interest me and where I thought was kind of interesting, I'd kind of go for. There are a couple that I really liked. One was I'm a sports fan too, and I took a baseball analogy and spun it into a CEO thing as a characteristic, and looked at how that characteristic can explain performance of a company, which I thought was really, really kind of interesting. And another one was actually a real estate paper. I didn't think I was going to publish anything in real estate. And a colleague reached out to me, and we finished this paper, and it's probably the fastest one that I've ever gotten published. It just seemed to hit at the right time in just after the great financial crisis. It was all about farmland and where prices were going and if it was a bubble or not.
Sure.
And that got picked up really fast, which I was very grateful for, but did not expect to be doing a real estate paper.
And then that seems like a good segue. Let's talk a little about real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the college, both the finance side and the real estate side.
Okay. So in our department, we have the two majors. In finance, we have different areas of finance you can focus on: investments, financial management, and now wealth management. And we also have a separate real estate major. Now, most of our real estate majors they also double with finance. There are a couple classes that overlap and can count towards both, but there's so much finance and real estate that it's really easy, can easily justify that double major. And so our real estate students, they get exposed to every aspect you could think of in their courses, from appraisal to real estate law, brokerage, the financing piece from the equity and the debt side. And then recently we added a capstone course that involves identifying a property for development, where the student teams get together and figure out what best to do with that property.
It sounds like fun, especially on that side of things. You kind of run a whole bunch of things. I mean, it seems like when somebody graduates, they can choose from a number of paths in which to go pursue on the real estate side of things.
So before I took the role as the head, the curriculum was set back, many years ago, but the involvement of our advisory council and the head of the department at that time really worked together on what's the best curriculum for our real estate majors. And the focus was, we want our majors to be able to plug in anywhere in the real estate industry. And so the classes are jam-packed with information, but the feedback from the employers is our students, they're just ready to go wherever, whether it's for an appraisal company, asset management company, development. They've at least have been exposed to that and have the foundation to succeed.
Hey, Iowa investors, this is Ava Baukamp, Chief of Staff at Legacy Impact Investors. Have you thought about adding real estate to your portfolio but don't have the time or desire to play landlord? At Legacy Impact Investors, we do the heavy lifting. Our team finds the deals, manages the properties, and handles all the day-to-day operations. Our select group of qualified investors co-invest with us, gaining ownership equity without opening a tenant email or responding to a maintenance call. They just share in the income, appreciation, and tax benefits. These opportunities aren't for everyone. They are for qualified, accredited investors only. If you want to learn more, please visit legacyimpactinvestors.com to apply.
It sounds like there's more practical application inside of the degree for real estate and its direct applicability when they go out into the workforce versus some of the other things that are a little more like a whole host of possible degrees in any university that are a little more theory-based, and that maybe you've got to figure out how you adapt your individual skill set and plug into somebody's existing.
Yeah, with the finance piece and understanding the foundations of the time value of money, risk and return, all that fits into real estate as well. And within the real estate courses, you still tie back to that theory and those foundations. But for example, the appraisal class, we bring in, we actually go out to a location in Cedar Falls and walk through the appraisal and why these things are important, and doing a market analysis and all that. So you get the foundational knowledge, but then you link it directly to what's going on in the real world.
What type of people are attracted to the program? I mean, who's funneling in? Where are they from?
So UNI as a whole, most of our students are from Iowa. We have a lot of first generational students as well. It's the students that want to go to UNI, or they like the smaller campus, the chance to get a better or close relationship to the faculty and the professors. But as far as the students that I see in the real estate program, some of them are very alpha type, very aggressive, very personable relationship type person, which can succeed in an area of real estate, all the way down to very analytical. They like to look at the cash flows. They like to do the analysis, and then everything in between. Guys, girls, it doesn't matter. So it's a pretty broad mix in real estate. But if they don't like real estate, that they usually don't gravitate or even show any interest in going into those courses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Real estate is so vast, and you guys have graduated thousands upon thousands of people. Just give me a little taste. You talked about people at each end of the spectrum. Where do they end up? What is maybe those who sit on your advisory council? What types of professions are they in? Yes, real estate, but more specifically, what are they doing today?
So if I look at alumni from our program, they might end up in a larger firm like a Principal or an Aegon or Transamerica, where they're doing asset management, portfolio management related to real estate transactions. They're into investing in real estate anywhere in the country, but as part of the larger portfolio. We have students that will be in appraisal, whether it's commercial property, residential. Well, that's kind of tailing off. Or farmland, we have them getting into development and management. You think of firms like Artisan. Think of someone go straight into residential and they want to be a broker and selling houses as a main or a side gig. We'll have students that will end up in the commercial brokerage. Let's see, they're primarily staying in Iowa, but we're seeing several students start reaching out to Chicago area. Texas had a few recent students going down to Texas, where things are really booming down there. Sure. Twin Cities is another big landing spot, but primarily in Iowa, especially the Des Moines area.
As you look forward in the, you now in that chair role for 3 years, when you fast forward 5 years, 10 years from now, what's it look like for you? What's the program look like?
I think the program can be very cyclical. I think before I started, there was even a higher point before the financial crisis in 08, 09. We're actually a bit higher in the numbers. And now we've come back, we're pretty close to where we were then, but it often kind of lags. We saw the drop in the majors around 2010, 2011, which made sense. So I think it'll continue to be cyclical, but we've seen a general increase over the last 5 or 6 years, with just a steady increase of interest. I think that continues. If it starts getting any larger, we're going to have to start getting more. We'll have to get more faculty in, because that interest brings in interest also in the finance classes. But I think we're going to continue our stronghold in Iowa. But I think we're going to start seeing more students look beyond the borders of Iowa, which probably couldn't have been said maybe 10 years ago. They'd really like to stay in the state. But there's so many opportunities and growth in some of the others, the Floridas, the Texas, that I think our students are going to start looking to go a little bit further than Iowa.
Well, you've got the only program in Iowa for real estate.
Yes.
I mean, it seems to me like it is a hub to be able to draw people who have some level of interest in real estate. And I'm curious, when you saw that tail off in 2000, were the finance degrees also tailing off?
No, finance degrees at that time, I think, were pretty steady. Yeah.
Because looking back, the inverse is true. What a fantastic time to be getting into real estate and getting a degree.
Yes.
Almost from a counter-cyclical standpoint to then come out.
And at that time, I wasn't, just being in a finance professor role, but being in touch with, our real estate students and some of the council members at that time. I think it was almost a perception issue when the students were coming into the university. Well, real estate's doing poor. I don't want to get into real estate. Right. But you're right. That would have been the perfect time to come out of school and be kind of at the low point of the market and go with it upward.
I was in the industry, so I know what everybody was feeling. Looking back, which we had never experienced before inside of real estate. Now there's a different story one could tell today.
Right.
Versus back then.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
The fact that we're getting, technology continues to advance, the world continues to get flatter, the borders may become a little a little borderless, if you will. Are you seeing that movement? It sounds like it's just been a progression over a period of time to where people are migrating. They graduate and then they move to a different state.
I think so. Iowa is a state that, it's growing, but it's a slow growth state. When the job growth is really large in the, like Dallas area or Nashville or Florida. I know one of our top students this year, she's heading down to Florida because she likes the sun, but the jobs are down there too. So I think we'll see more students being more opportunistic on where the job growth is. But again, we do have a lot of students from Iowa that come to UNI, and a lot of them, whether it's in real estate or other majors, they like to stay in Iowa after they graduate.
Now, something you guys do, students compete in a number of competitions. Talk to me a little about that, what that looks like.
So the primary competition that our real estate students are involved in is a NIOP competition through a chapter up in the Twin Cities. And a handful of universities that have real estate programs in the upper Midwest are provided a property in the Twin Cities area. And the student teams, they're required to evaluate their property, talking to different experts, figure out what the highest and best use is for that property, and do everything from a market analysis, evaluate your highest and best use, determine financing, develop a timeline of construction, all of that. And then writing a lengthy development report, and then presenting to a panel of judges in the Twin Cities area, a panel of expert judges, and kind of give the best story, I guess.
They start with it's a piece of ground, so they're going vertical in this thing.
Well, it could be. Yeah. This year's it was actually a building that was completely vacant. In the past, there's been a blank, just an empty lot. Yeah. So it could be a already existing building or empty lot. It just depends on different brokers or firms will offer up their property for use for the competition.
If you're a house flipper, execute the burst strategy, or do double closings and are in need of money, Little Guy Loans is your go-to lender here in the Des Moines area. Time is money. Loan approvals in 24 hours. Closings in 5 days. Little Guy Loans was founded by Neil Timmins, an investor just like you. Since he has been in over 10,000 homes in Des Moines, there's never an appraisal. Houses, multifamily, and commercial property loans up to $1 million. Check out www.littleguyloans.com.
When you said a team like that, how many students compete?
We usually have 5 or 6. This year we had 5 students in a team.
It speaks to, certainly commercial real estate. It's a team sport, is it not?
It is, absolutely. In that shortened time period, trying to do all of that within a really short window, and then realizing all the external information that you need and reaching out to the different, maybe the broker, maybe a couple developers, construction is very much a group type of effort.
How did the real estate program at UNI get dreamed up? How did it decide to go, we should absolutely, plant our stake here and make it happen?
That's a good question. Yeah, we had an alumni event last year, a first of its kind that we were trying to start here in Des Moines. And I found an old photograph in our department office of, at the time, Governor Terry Branstad signing the legislation that established the real estate efforts at UNI back in 1999. Our first graduate was graduated in the academic year 1991. I think we just had 2 that very first year. So it started out really slow, and it took maybe about 5 or 6 years before you really started seeing the growth or the stability of the program. That was well before my time at UNI. I know there were a few alumni that we're still in contact with that were here at that time that were really involved in coming back and helping progress the curriculum to what it is now and making sure that it grows to what the industry needs in Iowa.
What are your days today? Fast forward, you've been there 15 years, you're 10 years today. What are your days largely and your years largely spent doing?
So moving from faculty to administrative position, a completely different focus. I still teach. That's the part of the job I enjoy the most, getting in the classroom, working with students. But my typical week per se might be, besides all the meetings that seem to hamper all the administrators everywhere, talking outside of the classroom. I might be talking with students, advising them on courses or careers, giving them information on jobs or internships. a lot of it is planning for the next semester, making sure we have our courses covered, thinking about some of the trends that are happening in the college level or even at the university level with our leadership group, the other heads in the college. A lot of fires to put out. So a lot of it is just, it's managing faculty and courses and trying to fit in some research maybe here and there, if possible.
What keeps you here?
I like the Midwest. I'm not a big city person. I like I like the people of the Midwest. The university is the people I work with in the college. They're great people, and the students are great, hardworking students that it's really easy to go to bat for and to advocate for. UNI is smaller than Iowa and Iowa State, of course, but I like that. The atmosphere is really good, and Cedar Falls is a great community especially for raising a family.
Ready for the final 3 questions?
Yes.
If you had one piece of advice for your 20-year-old self, what would it be?
20-year-old self. Don't get locked into what you're doing. You never know what's going to happen. Be ready to jump on any opportunity. I think I probably let a few opportunities go, but I know I grabbed one that would put me here. And I think that was a good decision. I think I remember graduating from graduating from the university. I thought I was going to be working for Caterpillar for the rest of my life because that's what you did. You just worked for the same company forever. Well, you never know what opportunity is going to be out there for you. So I guess that'd be it.
2 books that changed your life.
2 books that changed my life. I'm a Christian, so the Bible still read the Bible. Of course, it helps run my life. But I think the Intelligent Investor was a big one. Really kind of got me interested in finance and understanding value, which you can apply anywhere.
Who wrote that? Graham?
Benjamin Graham. Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's a curveball, and we'll see how you define it for yourself. If you were cast away on an island for a year, you could only get 3 pieces of data about your business. We're going to talk about you being director in your role you sit in today. What 3 things must you know every month to know that things are right on track?
Oh boy, that's a good question. So the data that I rely on would be enrollment, obviously, placement rates, helps me understand where my students are going after graduation. What'd be the third thing? It probably is something as simple as class sizes. I know it seems so simple, but it really changes how you look at how you manage your faculty and where the interests of the students are.
Sure.
And you can see kind of that ebb and flow over time. Yeah. So I guess those would be my 3 pieces of data.
Brett, I've asked lots of questions. What's one question I did not ask that I should have asked?
That's another good question. Maybe the one question would be who was really one of the key persons that really got the real estate program where it's at, which would be the person who hired me, not to be in this role, but to come to UNI. Art Cox is well known throughout the state, mainly because of his efforts of working with alumni, driving all over the state and meeting with alumni and employers, and just getting UNI's name out there. And if you talk to anybody in the state about UNI or about real estate, and they think of Art Cox, and we're still good friends. We actually working together in one of a class that I'm teaching. He does absolutely know everyone, and I think he's really been the key driver on getting the program where it's at today.
Certainly instrumental in making it all happen.
Yep.
I can imagine it had to been a heavy lift.
Yes.
From the get-go.
Yeah. Just getting the interest level at the university side on how important having this type of degree would be.
Right, this has been great. For people, they want to find you, they want to follow you, they want to connect with you, they want to learn more about you and the real estate program. Where can they go? What should they do?
So they can go to the uni.edu website and do a search for real estate or finance. I'm linked to both of them. There's some great information on our programs on the website. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Brett C. Olsen, middle initial C. And I can connect with them there. And I do a lot, get connections, start communication. And it's a fun position that I'm in right now.
Yeah, what a great role. Well, I'll put the links below in the show notes for anybody who's listening and want to connect there. Brett, I really appreciate you taking the time to connect up here and share a lot about what's going on. I can't wait to have you back on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the show, may I ask a favor of you? Naturally, subscribe so you never miss an episode. But would you rate and leave an honest written review on Apple Podcasts? It does a lot for us here at the show, and I appreciate reading your thoughts. Great guests make for a great show. If you know of another Iowan who would be a great guest, or you yourself have interest in being a guest, well, get on our radar. Visit Investing in Iowa to fill out an application or recommend a guest. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one, go to LegacyImpactInvestors.com. Click on the Invest With Us button in the top right corner, and there you can pick a time for the two of us to get on the calendar and connect. Until next time, keep investing.